So Raw hit a home run, knocked it out of the park, gave us what we wanted. Did SmackDown Live do the same thing? Did they knock it out of the park? Not really. I'm gonna say they gave us a nice, respectable single. Not a double, not a triple, not a home run. They're on base. They got on base, and what we got was something better than the recorded Raw recap shows we used to get. Pretty much, here we go.
Today we face the monsters that are at our door. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
What's up, jabroni? Steven here, and welcome to What We Learned, the show where I tell you guys what I learned from something that I watched. And pretty much today we're going to be talking about WWE SmackDown Live. The first SmackDown Live after the draft. The one that was supposed to be the beginning of the new era. The beginning of the wrestling show. And like I said in my intro, they didn't do a phenomenal job. They gave us a nice little single. They're on base. They're kind of giving us small things of what we might want, but really it wasn't anything that they were promising. I mean, it's the wrestling show, but we only got 4 real matches. We got more commercials than we did matches. That's kind of upsetting. We got these weird promos and vignettes and this odd thing with the women's division. I mean, there was about 20 to 25 minutes that you could have completely cut out of the show and fused it in with actual tag team matches or actual wrestling matches in general. But pretty much, let's get started with how the show began. So the show started very similar to Raw, where the GM and the commissioner were the first things that we see. They're telling us that they want to make this the best brand it can be. They want to make it for the universe, for the WWE universe. They want to tell the fans it's for you. They had all of the superstars from SmackDown in the ring, and they were just trying to build it up like it was going to be this amazing thing. They get into the ring, and then they start talking about how they want to do this amazing thing. They have the WWE champion. They start doing this thing, building it up. Then they say that, like Raw, they're going to hold a little bit of a tournament to determine who's going to be the #1 contender for Dean Ambrose's WWE championship. And what they do is they hold a 6-pack challenge, which is something I've never actually heard of. And we found out later on that it's essentially a battle royal, except you win by pinfall and submission. Okay, cool. Didn't know it was called the 6-pack challenge, but whatever. They say that John Cena, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Bray Wyatt are 5 members that are going to be in this said match. And they're going to hold a battle royale, a typical regular battle royale, to determine the 6th member. Already, that was a mistake. It was a waste. We had not a lot of great talent in there. If you even looked at who was in this match, you knew who was going to win, and who actually went over was Cruz. Nobody else in there really seemed like a legitimate threat, and that just showed that there is a lot of depth not in this roster. You have a lot of good guys at the top, and the middle is just kind of there. So Cruz wins, and he's going to be our main event of the evening, along with the other 5 competitors to determine the #1 contendership. So right there, WWE SmackDown Live did not start off very well. Next, we have a rematch of what happened at WWE Battlegrounds between Becky Lynch and Natalia. And this is something that nobody wanted to see again. We didn't want to see this fight again. Don't get me wrong, they're both really good. But the fact that this is the main core that we're going to be getting when it comes to SmackDown women, it's not looking good right now. Becky is good, Natalya is good, and they put on a great match, but we're kind of tired of this a little bit. We want to see something fresh, something different, something new. Becky ends up getting the win. She ends up submitting Natalya, and then after, something weird just happened. Like, I didn't even understand what's going on. Alexa Bliss comes out, who is an NXT call-up, and she's talking about, oh, the women's division is going to be this thing, and then Naomi comes out and she says the same thing. Then Carmella comes out and gets like no pop because she's not Enzo and Cass, and this was the mistake you guys made, WWE, is that you didn't put her Enzo and Cass and then separate her. It would have been better. Have her even manage them on Monday, but fight on SmackDown would have worked out better. She got no pop. Nobody cared about her because nobody really knows who she is. She's okay on the mic. She's decent in the ring. And then we got Eva Marie. And everybody else talked. Eva Marie just came out, and her boobs are insanely big and look insanely fake right now. They're way too big. I don't even know how she could wrestle. But she came out, and she's just there, being there, doing nothing. And yeah, that was about 5 to 10 minutes of what the F. I mean, I didn't even understand what's going on. And It just shows how weak. All you did, WWE SmackDown Live, was show how weak your women's division is. And also, we don't even know if there's going to be a belt on this division. Is there going to be a belt for SmackDown for the women? Because other than that, why should I give two shits about these women matches? There's no belt, nothing. They're not fighting towards anything. Like, that's a mistake. You guys have to introduce a belt. You didn't introduce a belt. It's a mistake. I don't know what you guys are thinking. It's a mistake. I know you don't have a lot of depth there, but it's a mistake. I put on Twitter and said that Asuka needs to hurry up and come to SmackDown Live because they need women competitors and they need them bad. But other than that, I don't know what's going to happen here, honestly. I really don't know. So one awesome surprise that we did get is that Shelton Benjamin is coming back, and he is an amazing wrestler, amazing athletic specimen. He was great, and WWE wasted him the first time around, but he's coming back. I think he's in his like low 40s, so he still has a little bit of juice left. He's coming back, but they did say coming soon, so that's not a good sign of him coming anytime soon because it's going to be a while. After that, we got the amazing Miz TV because we all love seeing that, and the Miz starts talking about how he's amazing, and he starts interviewing himself with his wife, and they do this whole thing, and it's typical Miz boring stuff, but then Randy Orton comes out and Randy Orton does this whole thing, and I gotta say that I'm loving the new Randy Orton, like legitimately loving. He's vicious, he's funny, he's unfiltered, he's just killing these promos, and I'm loving the new Randy Orton because he's kind of like a baby face but also like a villain, and it's awesome. I'm loving it. I'm digging the hell out of it. But then the two get into it verbally, and then Randy Orton starts calling out the Miz, calling him a punk and all this other stuff, and talking about pitching and receiving, and this awesome thing by Randy Orton. And then Maurice is like defending her husband, and she says that her husband will fight Randy tonight. Then this match actually does happen, and the match was okay. I'll say it was okay. Nothing spectacular. They go back and forth for a little bit, then Randy just destroys the Miz, gives him an RKO, then kind of just sits there for a little bit, looking down the ramp like if he was waiting for somebody to show up that didn't come, and then he waits, and he waits, and he waits, and then he gives the Miz another RKO. So yeah, that was weird. Randy wins though, so that's cool. Too bad he's gonna get destroyed by Brock at SummerSlam. What can you do? Next, we had the little Heath Slater segment, which is what I predicted, that Heath Slater was going to try to show up at these shows and pitch himself saying that he should have been drafted. And I got to admit, Heath Slater gave one of the best promos he's ever given. Aside from his whole sign a resume thing, which was just weird, he gave a really good promo saying that he's an awesome ass person to be here. He should be drafted. I thought it was amazing, and it was quickly cut short by Rhyno showing up and giving Heath Slater the gore. Kind of sucks. I think Heath Slater is best on the mic, and he was actually killing it right there, and then he got gored, and that was it. So Rhyno is another person that's being on SmackDown Live for the mid division. Gonna be curious as to what they're gonna do. My guess is they're gonna feed like Apollo Cruz or Baron Corbin and to him, like they're gonna let Rhyno go through there and then help him develop the younger talent. That's what I'm guessing. It just makes sense. But I really wish Heath Slater had more to do here. I think he was killing it. I wish they would have let him be like more like a heelish kind of guy or something. I would have been a lot of fun, but nope. Just a way for the gore to show up and be on SmackDown Live. And that brings us to the main event of the evening, the 6-pack challenge. And I want to tell you guys that it was an amazing match and totally worth watching. And it's the reason that SmackDown Live was able to rebound. But in all honesty, I couldn't tell you because half of the match, maybe even more than half of the match, was gone through commercials. Now, I get commercials are a big deal of TV, but dear Jesus, like I couldn't even watch this match. It was so many commercials in it. So after all the competitors come out through their entrances, they start the fight, and then it cuts away, and then we head to commercials, which were about 5 to 7 minutes long. We get back, and there are only 3 members in the ring. AJ and Bray are beating up somebody, probably Dolph, and everybody else is gone. Yeah, because we missed that much action. Then we get back and the same thing happened, and I'm like, what the fuck? These commercials are insanely long. Why are, like, what's going on? Who's winning? Like, it's so much like commercials that I'm just losing my mind, and I'm like, I'm not being entertained because it just keeps cutting its legs from under it and giving us commercials. The match continues for a few more minutes, and then it kind of ends at like 9:55 or so with like 5 minutes left on WWE SmackDown Live, and the winner was Dolph Ziggler. Now, I love Dolph Ziggler. I've been a huge fan of Dolph Ziggler. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the ring. I love the way he sells. I love Dolph Ziggler. This shocked the hell out of me. I could not believe this is what they were doing, especially when you have Bray Wyatt there, and Bray Wyatt is one of the young guns. It would have been amazing to give him another shot. But Dolph Ziggler getting a shot here, I'm actually kind of happy because he's getting put back into the limelight and getting his little spot here. So I'm cool with it. But that 5-minute gap at the end just had Dean come out, put his championship in Dolph's face. Then about like a minute later, Daniel Bryan comes out and Dean's still doing it, and then Shane comes out, and it's just awkward thing where Shane's pointing at both of them and they're just in the ring, and I'm just confused as to why this needed to be 5 minutes. Like, why couldn't you just make the match a little bit longer? I don't know. It was awkward. It was weird. But Dolph versus Ambrose is the SummerSlam match, and most people are gonna hate that, but I'm actually okay with that match. I really do like Dean Ambrose, and I really do like Dolph Ziggler. I'm hoping that they give them cool things to do with one another, because Dolph Ziggler is really good on the mic. He's really funny, and Dean Ambrose is really funny, so they can have some really cool interactions. And that's essentially SmackDown Live. Now, there were a bunch of negatives that I'm going to point out right now. One is, where the hell was American Alpha? American Alpha, they said it was going to be debuting next week, but you could have cut out about 20 minutes of what you showed and had American Alpha come out and even do a thing where they just beat up nobodies, jobbers, like, you know, like local talent. You could have done that. You did that on Monday Night Raw. Why couldn't you do that here? American Alpha should have been here. Another thing that bothered me is that women's thing, that weird awkward thing. You could have cut that out. You could have called out these weird like vignettes or promos that they were doing for the main event with like all of the competitors. They took like a minute or 2 minutes each, and it wasn't really doing anything. Like, we weren't really feeling anything from that, and they could have cut all that out. So right there, you could have cut out about 20 to 25 minutes and thrown in a tag match. We had no tag teams. Showing my thing where there is literally no tag teams. None on SmackDown. The fact that American Alpha wasn't there and that made it so that no other tag team was worth putting on the show, it's sad, guys. It's really sad. But when American Alpha does show up, they're going to be awesome. And a lot of people were saying Kurt Angle was going to be like a manager for them, or they wanted that. But now I'm thinking Shelton Benjamin could probably manage them, and it would make some sense because he was originally on Team Angle. He's younger than Kurt Angle, and it could actually be a lot of fun. But yes, SmackDown Live was, like I said, they got on base. It was a nice little single. It was fine, better than the recap shows, better than like the recorded things we got before. It was nice to see it live. It had a nice vibe to it. It had a nice intro to it. There were some like small moments of goodness, and it shows that we're going to let other talent kind of make their way up, but there's still questions that need to be answered. What other belts are we going to get? We need a women's belt. We needed another secondary belt. I mean, are we just gonna use the Miz and the Intercontinental Championship, because he's literally not doing anything with it? What are we gonna do? They need to answer the what they're gonna do with the belts. Shane let it slip that they are gonna be doing their own pay-per-views for SmackDown. The first one is WWE Backlash, which is in September 11th, I believe. So they're going to get their own things, and if we don't start creating new belts and new reasons for people to watch those pay-per-views, then that pay-per-view is going to be pointless. We're going to have 2 belts for that pay-per-view. No. We need more belts. We need tag belts. We need other things. It just makes sense, because it is looking like we're completely splitting the brands, completely like nothing to do with one another. They didn't mention anything really from Raw. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Fine, but nothing compared to what Raw was. So make sure you guys let me know below what you guys thought of it. Like, let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm right. Let me know what you guys think of the show. What do you guys think of anything of the format? And as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys share this video. And as always, guys, talk to you guys later. Peace.